Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Britney Spears, the unlikely enemy in NATO's warfighting scenarios. We've all heard of electronic warfare being used to disrupt enemy communications, but what about using pop music to jam aircraft? It's a tactic that might sound unorthodox, but it's actually been done before. During Exercise Ramstein Flag, which involved over 90 aircraft from across the NATO alliance, personnel faced a unique challenge. Their comms network was being jammed with songs by Britney Spears. That's right, folks, the Princess of Pop had become an unlikely enemy in the world of electronic warfare. The scenario was designed to degrade the environment and make it easier for trainees to experience what it's like to have their comms jammed. And who better to achieve that than with the Queen of Pop herself? But why Britney Spears, you might ask? Well, according to Alastair Baumane, head of communications at Draken, a company that supplies electronic warfare aircraft, they've been known to break into enemy comms networks with the occasional popular music choice. It's all part of their mission to make trainees familiar with what it's like to have their comms jammed in real-life scenarios. And it's not just Britney Spears. Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes and techno music were also on the playlist. The goal was to disrupt the environment, making it easier for trainees to stay alert and focused during the exercise. But this isn't a new tactic, folks. Jamming aircraft or general radio broadcasts on the ground has been going on for decades, especially during the Cold War. Militaries are always working on how they can defend themselves against electronic warfare and use it effectively. And it's not just limited to NATO forces. Other militaries have also used music as a tool in their arsenal. In 2024, an RAF plane carrying the then Defense Secretary Grant Shapps had its GPS signal jammed while flying close to Russian territory. And back in 2014, there was a report in Ukraine claiming that Russia had been broadcasting propaganda to local people over loudspeakers. But it gets even weirder. Earlier this year, there were reports that the U.S.'s Psychological Operations Company used Justin Bieber's music on loop to break down detainees in Guantanamo Bay. And who could forget the time that Russian troops were lured out of hiding with recordings of cats meowing? And then there was the infamous musical barrier, constructed around the Vatican's embassy in Panama in 1989, which featured a barrage of sound from U.S. Army Humvees blasting tunes by Guns N' Roses and Twisted Sister. It was enough to convince Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega to surrender. So the next time you're listening to Britney Spears on your way to work, just remember, she might be an unlikely enemy in the world of electronic warfare. And if you ever find yourself facing a jammed comms network, just put on your favorite song and try to stay focused.